All right, friends, so I want to show you a little bit today about this book that I got out from the library. It is called No Patterns Needed. And this is a really fun book that you can probably find at your public library as well, or if you have interlibrary loan, maybe you can get it through interlibrary loan. This one's actually at my library. So I wanted to show you a couple of things. It's basically based around the concept that circles, triangles, rectangles all can make patterns, and there's a lot of really detailed instructions. So this is a really good introduction to some of the basics of pattern making as well, which I think is a really important skill to learn. So let's dive in to some of the things I really like. So the first one is, what do you do with rectangles? And there are a bunch of different patterns that you can make from rectangles. And a couple of the ones I really like, this skirt in particular, this basically is a rectangle in the front, and it's shorter in the front here. It's got slits up the front, like basically on either side where her hands are, and the front is made in a faux leather or real leather if you wanted to, and I really like that. There's also another version here that is wider and fuller just based on the change in the rectangle. And the thing I really like about this pattern book is there are a lot of really detailed instructions. Here's what you cut, here's how you sew, and I think those are really nice. They're really well done. So some of the other ones are, the next one is also made from rectangles, and this is an asymmetric mini skirt. Don't overlook the fact that it's a mini skirt. You could easily make this a longer skirt just by adjusting the size of the rectangles, which is really, I think, the whole concept of this book. And there are even some really interesting things. So I got a hair in my mouth there. Some really interesting things with tops here. You can see the shape of that top, which is also loosely made from a rectangle. So it's not just, basic rectangle shapes, it's how we make them into other garments, which I think is just a lot of fun. The next section is made from circles. And there are a lot of really great patterns in the made from circles section too, including some really cute dresses, some fun skirts, and then we move on to made from triangles. Now there's a whole section on the circles, by the way. It's a huge section of the book. So this is made from triangles, and as you can see, there's a lot of things that really don't necessarily look like triangles in this, right? There's a little triangular details, but there's some things that don't look like that. And I think that that's really kind of a hallmark. I really like this keyhole caftan, and I think that would be really cool too. I have a very squeaky chair today. And then one of the other things that you can do, and they show you this too, is how to break apart and create other patterns from the things that you've already created. So this one's a top, but they've made it into like this diagonal top just by drawing out lines and things. So this really is a pattern making instruction book, and you can kind of see how that looks in these patterns. So this really is a pattern making instruction book as much as it is a design book. So I got this out of my library. I've made some photographs and copies of it so that I can come back to it later. I'm going to probably keep this for another cycle in my library, so another 3 weeks, just so I could try to get through some of these, taking the pictures and things. And then I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to be sewing some of these garments. So I really think that you should take a look at your public library or your bookstore and see what other things you can do to improve your sewing skills. This one's a really good learning book, and I think that that's a worthy book to have in your library. And the nice thing about checking it out from your library is you get a chance to see the book in advance and decide if this book is for you. And since this book is a little older, I probably could find this in a used bookstore or a used books online. And that would be a worthy purchase given the fact that this is a really good resource book. So that's my review of No Patterns Needed.